The 1 week that everybody has been looking forward to most all year is finally here. AEW, Wednesday nights, TNT. Tomorrow night, guys, All Elite Wrestling debuts Dynamite to go head-to-head with the WWE and the NXT brand. I don't even know how to begin. I really don't. What started off as a simple bet from a simple question from a fan that was posed to Dave Meltzer on Twitter. Do you think Ring of Honor can sell a 10,000-seat venue? Dave Meltzer simply said, I don't think so. Cody Rhodes chimed in and says, you know what? We'll take you up on your bet. You got a deal. Cody Rhodes, Matt and Nick Jackson, Kenny Omega, Adam Hangman Page, and obviously the help of his many friends went into the Sears Center in Chicago and sold out 10,000 seats in about a half an hour. I was in that arena. I seen it. I felt it. I heard it. I knew. After I walked out of that venue, I knew. I knew that what they did in that city for that Labor Day weekend was simply magic. Now, you might not think it's magic. You might think it's nothing more than a bunch of indie guys flipping and diving who aren't big names, who couldn't draw a dime. But I know what I felt in that arena, and I felt a resurgence in professional wrestling. Now, I want to say that I'm excited about what's to come. And I really, really am excited. But I also love NXT, and I'm really excited for NXT. I will not sit here and call it a war. I am not going to sit here on a weekly basis going over which show was better. I'm not going to sit here on a weekly basis and break down segments and start comparing each show to one another. I will not do that. This is for us, folks. We right now have 2 shows that will total 4 hours on Wednesday night that we can honestly enjoy. When was the last time that we can all collectively as a family sit here and say, you know what? I enjoyed the shit out of myself on Wednesday night by simply watching good professional wrestling. They talk about changing the world. They talk about changing the world. Now, it's not changing the universe. It might not be changing the world that you live in. But changing the world means that they're changing the pro wrestling world. It's just not a saying. They took those words and made it a reality. Everything about that phrase is becoming more and more true as the weeks and months go on. They changed the entire industry. Pro wrestling promotions closing down, independent promotions closing down and losing talent. Promotions can't sign or book talent anymore because now they're exclusive with WWE and AEW. It's unreal what's happening. They've literally changed the world. And not only have they changed the world, they changed the leader in this industry, World Wrestling Entertainment. And if you don't think that they changed the WWE, you're a fool. Everything that WWE has done is no longer in effect. WWE has now been forced to change with the times. WWE has now had to go out there and do things that they're very uncomfortable doing. WWE has given 5-year contracts to the majority of their roster with a pay raise that some of these guys are lucky they are seeing because they'll never see it again. And they have AEW to thank for that. Pyro, new sets, new TV deals, new creative teams. Vince McMahon willingly stepping back, keeping my fingers crossed. It's all changing. It's all changing. NXT's moving to Wednesday nights live on USA. Everything about the WWE is changing. SmackDown on Friday, bigger than ever. Monday Night Raw is now the C show in the landscape of WWE. AEW has changed not only the industry and the industry standards for the men and women that have made this a profession, They've not only given everybody in this industry another place to work and find happiness, not only have they done all that, they've given a pay raise to everybody. And they forced WWE into a corner where their old ideologies no longer work. They now have to change with the times. And that's the only thing I've ever wanted. Out of everything. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a war on Wednesday nights. Oh, it's going to be AEW versus NXT. I don't look at it like that. I don't. I never wanted AEW to go into this thing against the juggernaut named WWE and then immediately put themselves in the line of fire and fail. I've always wanted them to succeed from day one, as soon as this thing was announced. I needed, you needed, we all needed an alternative. Because what we were getting on Monday and Tuesday nights previously just wasn't it. It was some of the worst wrestling that I, in over 30 years of watching this sport, have ever endured. From creative writing to misuse of talent to just a lack of excitement all around. Nothing was clicking at all. Here comes AEW. And the only thing that I've ever wanted with AEW now in this game is to make WWE better. Now, we don't know if they're going to make WWE better. They certainly are changing for the better. We have to see what they do with this change. But AEW, I've always wanted them to exist and do their own thing and be successful and be a true alternative. A place where people could go to also make your name without needing the WWE. But I wanted from day one for them to exist to make our WWE better. Now we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens. Wednesday it begins. The journey begins on TNT. And Dustin Rhodes is getting everybody in AEW excited, and he sat them down to this tweet. This is what he said on Twitter. To my AEW family, right before Dynamite airs on TNT, he said this, and I quote, "This is it, guys. All the hard work has brought you to this point. We were all chosen for this team, and it's time to do this. You have worked your asses off, and it is shown tenfold. We are a team, and with a team, there comes responsibilities. We are a fine-tuned unit with one goal in mind. Put on the best damn program that we possibly can. Here are some things that I'm asking you to keep in mind. They all relate to me as well. It is a team working together that will make us successful. We all have a part to play, so play it well. Pick each other up when one falls. Always keep stepping and never look back. You can't change what is behind you, so focus on what the task at hand is. Believe in this team, from the production team to the front office to your teammates, and most importantly, believe in yourself. Do not be afraid to always ask questions. If you don't, you won't know. Have the best attitude to do what you love by entertaining our fans. Be patient. Stay positive. This isn't a race, so just breathe and have some fun. Work your asses off to better your personal brand and our AEW family's brand. On a personal level, I can't wait to work with all of you. AEW has some of the most talented, passionate performers and production around, and I'm freaking excited. If there's anything any of you need from me, do not hesitate to ask. Change is here. Again, let me repeat that. Change is here. The revolution is here. Stay safe, and let's do this. Signed, The Natural, Dustin Rhodes. Couldn't have said it better myself, and there was no other way I was going to start this debut episode of AEW right here on Off the Script.
Delete! This is mine.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here for AEW on Off the Script. Tuesday is your new home for everything AEW. Can't wait to dive into it. Gonna be awesome. I am so excited to have a full schedule now fleshed out for everybody. Every single day I am here, I will have content on the channel. It's a very daunting task. It's going to be difficult, man. A lot of people think this is easy. It is not easy whatsoever. Every single day will be filled. And we all kicked it off with the season premiere of Monday Night Raw. That video is live on the channel right now. Make sure you guys go and check all of that out. If you missed that podcast last night for the season premiere of Monday Night Raw, gotta shout out my boy Sal Rex for this beautiful visual. Now you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. Monday with Monday Night Raw each and every week, unless things are specified. Wednesday night with Dynamite. Tuesday, I'll be right here with this podcast. Wednesday night with Dynamite. Thursday for NXT. SmackDown on Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday is now the new home of Off the Script. No longer Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We are now condensing that into a Saturday and Sunday only podcast. And then obviously this Sunday, we also have Hell in a Cell. It's going to be a busy week, man. And I'm fully prepared and excited to bring you guys the best content right here in the YouTube wrestling community. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. And if you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206. Today's podcast is brought to you by my fine friends over at Audible. You guys want 30 days of their service? You guys want a free audio book? Audible saying, you know what? Come on over, man. We got the hookup. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Use our unique link. Get yourself 30 days and a free audio book just for listening to Off the Script. The best part is, if you guys feel like Audible's not for you or you have no desire to keep the service, you guys can cancel in that 30 days and still get to keep your audio book for free. Over 200,000 choices to choose from, and a lot of those are wrestling and sports related. Guys, you can't go wrong getting something for free and supporting the podcast at the same time. Sounds like a good deal to me. audibletrial.com/offthescript. So, I don't know if you guys were on Twitter yesterday afternoon, but with things like this, I like to be surprised, but I guess they jumped the gun early because everybody is really excited about AEW debuting on TNT. But the AEW on TNT Twitter account actually revealed and leaked, I would say, early. I'm pretty sure this is the entire thing. It just gives you a quick glimpse of what you're going to be seeing on Wednesday. They actually put on social media the entire opening video package that you're going to see for AEW Dynamite. Now, I thought it was great. The music was right. The music fits as to what I think a wrestling program should have as far as music for its video package. You know, a little harder edge to that. It's got the whole Dynamite theme to it. The nice vibrant colors that pop throughout the entire video package, like Sal Rex beautifully portrayed in this layout. I thought that was awesome. And it was nothing more than highlights and clips that you've seen from Double or Nothing and all the other events that we've seen all the way up until All Out. It was a very good and simple video package. Obviously, I can't show it to you guys here, otherwise I'd get a copyright strike because I do not own the material in the highlight package or the video package. But what I can do is I'll link you guys. If you have not seen it yet or you're not following the Twitter account, I could easily link the direct tweet down below. So if you guys want to go check out that video package, you could certainly do so down below in the description of this very video. Great news yesterday as well, not only with the video package for AEW on TNT with Dynamite, but AEW yesterday also announced a retail partnership with Hot Topic. This is nothing new. The Elites, the Bullet Club, were featured in Hot Topic, and now All Elite Wrestling is going to be featured in Hot Topic. I'll be going to Hot Topic next week in my local mall, which is downright depressing, and I will be buying myself the Bubbly t-shirt from Chris Jericho. This is what AEW had to say on the retail partnership with Hot Topic. Customized t-shirts featuring AEW superstars available in 700 Hot Topic stores and online starting this Wednesday to coincide with AEW Dynamite on TNT. So if you guys are wanting to get a shirt for the collection, now they made it easy for you. If you got a local Hot Topic or a local mall that has a Hot Topic outlet, you guys are set, man. All Elite Wrestling today announced a multi-year partnership with Hot Topic, the 700-store retail chain specializing in pop culture-related apparel, accessories, and licensed merchandise. Starting this Wednesday, October 2nd, Hot Topic stores across the United States and Canada will offer customized t-shirts featuring the Young Bucks, Cody, Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, Adam Hangman Page, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and etc. Consumers can also purchase this first wave of t-shirts online at HotTopic.com. Hot Topic has had a relationship with the Elite brand for the past 3 years and is evolving the partnership to encompass all of All Elite's wrestling. I quote, "It's a pleasure to bring the relationship that the Elite has forged with Hot Topic over the past several years to the AEW family," said Dana Massey, Chief Marketing and Merchandise Director over at AEW. "This is one of the easiest decisions to make, and the timing also perfectly coincides with our debut on TNT this coming Wednesday, October 2nd. I'm confident our partnership with Hot Topic will grow even further and expand to new offerings and opportunities for wrestling fans across the board. Everyone at Hot Topic is ecstatic to partner with All Elite Wrestling, and we're pumped to play a role in their wrestling revolution, which is being led by our friends, the Elite," said John Enriquez, senior buyer over at Hot Topic. This is an absolute no-brainer. And, you know, I could poke fun at Hot Topic about how trendy it is, but have you guys ever been in a situation where the wife or the girlfriend wants to go out for a day and you go to a Buffalo Wild Wings or you go to an Applebee's or a Chili's or an Outback Steak? I'm making myself hungry over here, right? And you make a day out of it. She's like, "Oh, honey, let's go to the mall." And you walk around the mall aimlessly and you're contemplating your life decisions. Like, I swear to God, man, I used to live in South Jersey. I used to live in the outskirts of Atlantic City, right? I used to live in the neighboring towns. I used to live in Ventnor. I used to live in Margate, right? And the only mall that we had was in Mays Landing. And the Hamilton Mall, I swear to God, man, the Hamilton Mall in Mays Landing is one of the most depressing atmospheres that I think I've ever been in. And I feel that way about any mall that I go into. I have not walked into a mall where I could be like, "Wow, man, this is great, this is fun, this is vibrant and exciting." I walk in there and I genuinely feel sadness for people that are working mall hours. No customers, it's dead. You got the fucking food court up there, right? You see the same fucking food options unless you're cooking something at home and bringing it with you to work. You got the fucking Chinese takeout, you got a Cinnabon, you got a Taco Bell, right? You got a fucking local pizza joint that probably sucks dick. My God, man, I'm making myself depressed. "Honey, can we go to Kay's? Can we go see the rings over at Jared?" My God, man, hand me a fucking noose and fucking gouge my eyes out, please. I can't take it. Then you walk into a Hot Topic, right? "Oh, let me see the Funko Pop they got on fucking display." There's not one fucking pro wrestling Funko Pop. They got like SpongeBob and they got fucking Star Wars. Like, who buys this shit? Then you see a Chris Jericho, a little bit of the bubble hair t-shirt. Fine. Today was a fucking success. You brought me into this fucking dump, and now I'm walking out with a Chris Jericho t-shirt. At least the entire day wasn't lost. And by the way, my steak over at Outback was fucking tough. Anyway. Here we go, first episode of an All Elite Wrestling podcast, and I'm fucking ranting on local malls. But congratulations to AEW, man. Congratulations to AEW on this. Hot Topic. For Hot Topic, this was an absolute fucking no-brainer, man. Seriously. I guarantee you the Elite has made them hand over fist fucking so much money. You know, obviously they got their deal with Pro Wrestling Tees. Most of the people buy through Pro Wrestling Tees. But if you're one schmuck like this idiot that I was just describing, who's got to fucking be dragged to the mall, and he wants to fucking bring a half of a smile to his face, go buy yourself a little bit of the bubbly t-shirt. That's what I'm going to do next week. In fact, I might do it on Wednesday before the fucking show, and I'll wear it on the show. If I can pry myself away from fucking Destiny too, I'll be over here fucking not showered in 3 days, and I gotta bring myself out into fucking humanity to go buy a goddamn fucking t-shirt. Anyway, moving on. That's why you watch me, man. Don't shake your head at me. This is why you watch me. Who else is this entertaining as a pro wrestling content creator? Zero. Anyway. Spoiler for Dynamite. You guys want spoilers? Too bad. I'm going to give it to you anyway. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that the current plan is for AEW's debut episode on TNT to present Cody versus Sammy Guevara directly after they start without saying anything else beforehand. So you're going to see the introduction, which you guys can see right down in the description, and they're going right to this match. That way AEW can present a wrestling match right from the start. And you know what? Cody's bringing it. Sammy's bringing it. And they're going to tear the house down to open that show. You don't think those guys are going to be fucking, yes, nervous, but excited to set the pace for that entire show? It's great. And you know what? A lot of people are asking themselves, why is Cody getting a title match? Why is Cody opening the show? Don't you think he'd have to get back to Gorilla to produce the rest of this show, cretin? Seriously. So Cody is going to wrestle, and then he's going away to do producer-like things. He's going to sit in Gorilla with the headset on, with Tony Khan and everybody else. So don't worry about what Cody's doing. Now, a lot of people have also been expressing, well, why did they announce the world title match when they did for Full Gear, yet they got this match with Cody and Sammy, then they got Jericho defending the title, I think on week 2? Week 3? One of them weeks. I don't know. I gotta look at the schedule. But everybody was complaining why they did everything ass backwards. What if Sammy Guevara wins? What if he beats Cody? Right? Another one of these storylines where everybody thinks Sammy Guevara is a good hand. What if he beats Cody? What if it's Sammy Guevara versus Chris Jericho in that title match on TNT? I mean, Cody's got his title match anyway. It's already announced. They're not going to take the title match away from Cody after they already announced it. So what if Sammy wins? And Cody actually has his title match all set up, and a loss to him doesn't mean anything because he's already got his title match at the pay-per-view. Or maybe Pac wins, and we get Pac versus Jericho, because I don't see Adam Hangman Page beating Pac. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe Pac versus Jericho. Or maybe Page versus Jericho again. But I doubt they do that. What if Sammy wins and beats Cody and then gets the title match against Jericho? Would it be that out of the realm of possibility? I don't think so. So we'll see what happens. But the spoiler here is that the match is opening the show here on week 1, and then Cody is going right back to producing the show. So that's why he's opening the show, but the reason why the match is opening here and they're going right into it is because they want to give you exactly what they're all about, what they're bringing to the table. Pro wrestling. No fucking promos, no fucking 20-minute promo to open this show. No, hi, thank you guys so much for being here. No, they're getting right into it. There's your spoiler. So when you see nothing else but Cody and Sammy open the show, no questions asked, there you go. That's what's going to happen. Speaking of Cody, Cody says CM Punk made AEW look like dumbasses. Now, I don't know how CM Punk made AEW look like dumbasses, but let's get into it. This is not really a big story. We talked about this on Off the Script this past weekend. Now, there were rumors going around, or Meltzer said it, that, AEW is now not interested in signing CM Punk. You blow me. You're not interested in fucking signing CM Punk. Yeah, I'm not interested if Tony Storm came walking up to me after a hard day's work wearing basically nothing. Honey, can you relax me? No, honey, no, so seriously, I gotta go on this exotic quest in Destiny 2 Shadowkeep. Listen, I'll get back to you in about 4 hours. You fucking kidding me? Get out of here, man. Seriously, Cody Rhodes said that he's open to listening to CM Punk and the door is open. This is what he stated. Now, Punk, I don't know what Punk is thinking. I don't know where Punk's head is at. For all we know, Punk could show up on FS1, work for Fox on the WWE Backstage show, and be signed to AEW. Imagine that. Has anybody raised this question? Has anybody brought this to the table? What if Punk gets signed by Fox to do WWE Backstage and then goes to work and shows up on the debut episode of AEW? Is that really out of the fucking question completely? I don't know. I don't think he's that big of a fucking vindictive. Maybe he is. I don't know. But I don't think anybody has really raised this question, being that we know from what we've heard that this is a Fox production. But Cody is saying that the door is open for CM Punk. Now, he spoke to Collider Live. Cody Rhodes cleared the area, explaining that the contact that AEW had with Punk, and, you know, it was what it was. It totally didn't close the door on him coming into AEW at all. He did say that Punk did make them look like dumbasses, and he said this, and I quote, "But he did kind of make us look like dumbasses, saying we sent him a text offer." Now, I mean, listen. Let me stop it right there. No matter what was said or reported, we all know that Tony Khan is not going to allow the executive vice presidents to fucking send texts and offer money and fucking joke around with something as serious as this. Okay? You know, it might have been done in a joking manner. We don't know what the text or the context of the text had or said. I doubt seriously that CM Punk received a formal offer to come to work for AEW via text. Either somebody met with him at his home or in a very, very secluded area, or Tony Khan, all he had to do was get on a fucking private jet, fly to Chicago, make it easy for Punk, sit down in a fucking coffee shop somewhere, you know, or sit down in his home and talk business. CM Punk did not receive a serious offer via texts. I'm sorry. I don't believe that for a fucking second. So Cody goes on to say, "I'm sure we texted him, but we also called him. Someone also met him in a coffee shop." Now, if you were in Chicago and you were at this coffee shop, you know, I find it very hard to believe that you don't know who CM Punk is. Like, if CM Punk met somebody in a coffee shop, there would have been a picture or something being reported. So I'm not sure if that is even the legitimate truth. Why would you meet him in a coffee shop? You meet him at home. You want to keep this under the fucking wraps completely. Now, we made a genuine effort, but in his case, in 2019, he spent quite some time away from the ring. We got to focus on who really wants to be on board with us versus going out and finding someone who perhaps doesn't want to be a part of this. I didn't really like the communication with him, and the communication with him after that was pretty much nothing. I expected to see him at StarCast. He gave this great live show that he did with Mike Johnson, where he was really great with his answers. I'm sure we'll run into each other at some point. If he ever wanted to be a part of this and had the passion to come back to wrestling, that door is always open. No ego, no situation would ever prevent us from having him come in, because the fans have never given up on Punk. Ever. It's crazy. End quote. We don't know what he wants to do. There's so many variables. Really, there's so many variables. I talked about this, and I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Punk showed up at that tryout for WWE Backstage. You're not having him walk in there and then not offer him the job. He's absolutely being offered that job. Did Fox go behind WWE's back and offer CM Punk this job without them knowing? No! No, they did not. Fox asked CM Punk, and they also asked WWE. If you don't think Vince McMahon has a hand in this, you're an idiot. But this is a good move for WWE. They killed 4 birds with one stone. One I failed to mention. Wherever Punk goes, AJ Lee is always there behind. WWE could eventually get Punk one foot in the door to possibly wrestling. Maybe AJ would be a little bit more accessible if things are mended with WWE. They keep him away from AEW. They take him out of the free agent market, and CM Punk is back on WWE television in some capacity. That's 4 birds with 1 stone right there. WWE absolutely gave Fox their best in this. Fox is not going out and doing this on their own. WWE is absolutely involved with this. Booker T gave a statement. Oh, I didn't know. I don't have anything on the news about CM Punk. I didn't know about this. Bullshit. They were all there. They were all there auditioning for this shit. Now you don't know. Now all of a sudden everybody's drawing a blank memory. But WWE definitely had a hand in this. Cody clearly, AEW clearly, Tony Khan clearly wants Punk in some capacity. Punk was at the top of his list to start a whole roster with. That was it. He was at the top of that list. I don't know where Punk's mind is at. I really don't. But again, it's very interesting, and I don't think this is going to happen. If Punk is working for Fox, unless there's a fucking clause in his contract where he can't work anywhere else, he could ultimately, unless there is a clause, work for Fox on this WWE show, and then also work for AEW. That would be fucking mind fuckery if that happened. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he's that vindictive, but, you know, I could be wrong. So we'll see what happens. Cody Rhodes says CM Punk made AEW look like dumbasses. I think everybody made each other look like dumbasses. There was some really stupid back and forth where he even threw Tony Khan kind of under the bus, or Tony Khan wants to go out there and say he has this type of relationship with me. I don't know Tony at all. Bullshit. Of course you talk to Tony. Of course you talk to Tony. I don't need to know if you talked to him. Of course he talked to you. You're the number 1 guy on his list. Why the fuck wouldn't he reach out to you? Ridiculous. Cody Rhodes says CM Punk is welcome if he so wants it. I don't know what's going on with Punk. It's going to be a very interesting month, especially going into November 5th when that show debuts on FS1, WWE Backstage. It's going to be very interesting to see the news articles come up in the coming weeks. Punk signs with Fox, new host for WWE Backstage. I'm waiting on it. And I do believe that he auditioned, and he's definitely going to be offered that spot. There's no way he walks in there and he's not getting that spot. There's no way. We go from one former WWE superstar in Punk to another. Now, Punk, we don't know. He could be on the debut episode. I doubt it. But another former WWE superstar could be on the debut episode of AEW on TNT, and that is Jack Swagger. Yes, Jack Swagger. I remember Jack Swagger in WWE, man, how WWE killed off the team of Cesaro and Jack Swagger. They were over and organically over. And WWE cut them down before they amounted to anything. And I hate that. I really, really hate that. They still do it now, and they did it to those guys. They were on their way to being one of the more popular tag teams in that company. And WWE, for whatever reason, just shit all over that act. I don't know what it was. They had everything that you wanted as far as an organic feel. It worked. And WWE said, no, not on our watch. Now he could be on his way to AEW. Now, this is being reported in Sports Illustrated. They claim that Jack Swagger, Jake Hager, we're going to call him Jack Swagger because that's what he's universally known by in the pro wrestling world. They are reporting, Sports Illustrated, that he could be safe for a surprise on the debut episode of Dynamite this Wednesday. He says, and I quote, or they say, and I quote, in other wrestling news, a potential surprise for AEW's premiere on TNT, Sports Illustrated has learned, is Jake Hager, better known for his WWE run as Jack Swagger. He is a supporter of the president. I will not name him here because I'll probably get demonetized. A legitimate big guy. Hager would fit in nicely as a villain for the promotion. He would also add depth to the card, and his work in Bellator MMA could have a crossover appeal for AEW. End quote. Now, as Sports Illustrated initially reported here, his recent work in MMA could make him an ideal signing for AEW and would help give the promotion a more sports-like feel. Now, I don't want to sit here and badmouth Jack Swagger. I was never a big Jack Swagger guy. I love the fact that he teamed with Cesaro. I wanted to see that through. I thought he fit great with Zeb Coulter. But from what I know of him returning to wrestling and being mixed in with Lucha Underground, I believe he was the Lucha Underground champion at the end of Season 4. there were a lot of people complaining about him and his work and the fact that he's not really entertaining and the fact that he's not just really jump out of my seat exciting. There's just something about him that doesn't resonate. He's big. He moves great. He's a legit fighter. He knows how to wrestle. He's got all that. But there's something about him that I don't really find all that enjoyable. And I mean this wholeheartedly. He just comes off as boring. He comes off as plain. He comes off as ordinary. Jack Swagger is not going to be one of those guys that's going to be presented on AEW and you're going to go out of your way to watch AEW weekly. He's going in as a supporting act, and he's going to be nothing more than a supporting act. I don't think people, unless they could do a fucking phenomenal job at making people believe he's more than what he really is, I don't see him coming in there and making any sort of a difference to a point where he's going to be believable at the top of the card and be a believable guy that could hold that world championship. I'm sorry. He's not that type of guy. Now, what I do think is unfair is what I think is going to come if he does show up on AEW or he is going to be with AEW for any extended period of time. I do think that Jack Swagger is going to get negative press from the online wrestling community because there are already people talking about, oh, AEW, I hope it fails, or AEW, they suck, or AEW is nothing more than a WWE fucking landfill. You add Jack Swagger, someone who really didn't amount to anything in WWE, going over to AEW, that's going to get people talking negatively, and they're going to cut him down before he even fucking opens his mouth or steps foot in the ring to wrestle. Oh, look, another ex-WWE guy going over there to try his hand at pro wrestling because he couldn't cut it in the big leagues. It's not fair. That's really not fair. You could say that about anybody. What if Punk goes over there? You're going to say that same thing about Punk? Punk is a fucking world champion in WWE. So, it's not really fair of you to say that to Jack Swagger, if that does indeed happen. I just don't think he's one of those guys that is going to be looked at any more than he is right now, and that is a supporting act. It's great. It's another name. It's a credible name you got over there. I'd love to see him mix it up with Omega. I'd love to see him mix it up with Adam Hangman Page. You know? There's a few guys over there I'd like to see him mix it up with. Maybe you got MJF and Jack Swagger. A couple of guys over there that could work with him. But other than that, I don't see anything more than a mid-card act for Jack Swagger over in AEW. So we'll see if he does show up on Wednesday night during the debut episode of Dynamite. Now, WWE, I know this is an AEW podcast, but everything that WWE is doing or the changes that they're doing is being done to combat AEW. So I figured I'd put this one in here. Now, Dave Meltzer noted on the Wrestling Observer newsletter that part of the reason that WWE is going through so many changes is because WWE wants to close the holes that AEW will exploit. Meaning, the things that WWE were not doing, or the things that AEW is bringing to the table that are fresh, WWE wants to do them, to either A, do them better, or do them first before AEW does them, like the pyro, or the tail of the tape, things like that, things of those natures. So, I have been saying this for weeks. It's the AEW effect, folks. The AEW effect works in every facet or every aspect that WWE is doing something. They always got AEW on the mind. They're like a disease. They're like a fucking, some uncurable disease. AEW is to WWE. Can't get rid of them. Everywhere you go, you're thinking about them. Everywhere you go, you pull out that pack of AEW cigarettes and you fucking... you smoke one. That's what's going on. It's the AEW effect, folks. The AEW effect. Everyone knows that AEW will have pyro on their weekly TV show, and people will call attention to that if WWE doesn't have it on their shows. So it was confirmed within the past week by WWE that there will be pyro, flames, lasers, new announcers, new graphics, new logos, new music. They have been testing new camera angles with new 4K cameras as well. Wow. Wow, man, AEW forced you to change all that. If AEW wasn't a thing, folks, do you honestly think WWE would have done anything different for the season premiere of Monday Night Raw? The answer is no. The answer is no. We might have got a new theme song and a new logo, but other than that, you could do better than Skillet, by the way. I don't know if I'm listening to a fucking rock band or I'm fucking frying something up in the kitchen. Anyway, moving on. WWE dropped Pyro a few years ago to save money, but there's no reason not to have it now since they are getting so much money from their TV contracts. Another thing you guys will notice is that NXT is more wrestling heavy, and they will continue to get more wrestling heavy as the weeks go on, since it's expected AEW will be very wrestling heavy and light on promos. AEW will start off hot, like I mentioned, with Cody versus Sammy Guevara. Right after the intro is made, they're going right into that match on TNT. So everything that WWE is doing, folks, again, I have to mention this because there are people out there that are hard of hearing and they don't clearly understand. Whatever AEW has been bringing to the table that they're going to roll out on the debut episode, WWE is going to do. Just because they want to get one up and do it better. Whatever AEW was going to do as far as bringing stuff back that WWE has abandoned for the last several years, WWE is now bringing back because they want to be on the same level as AEW. So, folks, what did we learn here? The AEW effect is... So that WWE's not getting high, they're still fucking stupid at the end of the day. AEW is the puppet master. And WWE is just being strung along. Oh, we gotta do this now. Oh, we gotta do this. Oh, we gotta do that. Pyro and lasers and flames. Hey! That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing. Marty Scurll. He's friends with the Elite, right? He's friends with the Elite. Marty Scurll could be a free agent. WWE's gonna look at him. Why is WWE gonna look at Marty Scurll? To keep him away from AEW. Why is AEW gonna look at Marty Scurll? Because he is a part of the Elite. Now, Dave Meltzer brought up Marty Scurll's situation during the Wrestling Observer Radio this week, where he explained Scurll is in a very good position right now. Marty's a different story, says Meltzer. Marty could go anywhere, make money no matter where he goes, and if Ring of Honor offers him money, Marty can make money anywhere. Ring of Honor, WWE, AEW. I can't say that 100%, but I would certainly suspect that those guys are his friends, and you know WWE. I think Marty is enough of a star that WWE isn't going to bring him in for $80,000 a year. I mean, if they did, he ain't gonna come. I can't imagine he'd come for a number like that. Marty's contract is up at the end of November. In fact, Marty Scurll is going to be at House of Glory for their November show, first week of November. I might ask him then, bro, where you going? Where you going? So, Ring of Honor could always break the bank and convince Marty Scurll to sign another deal. You never know, because they have a lot of money at their disposal, as well, being that Sinclair owns them. They got unlimited resources. The Elite have already said that they didn't totally kill off Scurll's character on being the Elite because they are leaving a spot open for him and his eventual return. That being said, it seems like Marty will have a spot in All Elite Wrestling sooner rather than later. Now, WWE is also looking for top names, and Paul Heyman obviously knows all about Marty Scurll, as he praised him in the past. I even heard rumors from some of my people who are in the know that Paul Heyman has been monitoring Scurll's situation so that he and Vince can sit down and sign him to a WWE deal in hopes that they bring him to the main roster and a feud with Bray Wyatt is on the horizon. The Villain versus The Fiend. This is what I heard. I'm not really sure what you guys think about that, but I don't think that's very likely, and I don't think WWE main roster is going to look at Marty Scurll the way that a lot of people look like Marty Scurll. He's got the makings of a main event guy, but it would be very difficult to bring him in and put him directly on the main roster without him going to NXT first. That's just me. I don't know what they do. Maybe Heyman does the unthinkable. Maybe he makes him into an overnight sensation. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. But that's what I heard. Heyman has a keen eye on what is going on, and that is, right now, the mindset. The Villain versus The Fiend. When that happens, I don't know. But that's what they're thinking. Now, Heyman has been keeping an eye on this. It could get very interesting over the next couple of months. But for Marty, you know, this is a very lucrative position to be in. Ring of Honor COO Joe Koff spoke with Chuck Carroll of CBS Sports. This is what he said about Marty Scurll and his contract reportedly coming up. He was asked, how important is Marty overall to Ring of Honor and what he brings to the table? Joe Koff said this, and I quote. Now remember, this is Joe Koff. This is the COO of Ring of Honor. He's not going to go out there and say, Marty is wavering on what he wants to do. He's going to make it sound all peachy. He's going to make it sound all creamy. And, Ring of Honor is the place to be. Just keep that in mind. Nobody knows what Marty Scurll is going to do. The only one that knows what Marty Scurll is going to do is Marty. So Joe Koff says this. He is definitely a fan favorite. We face this every year. Talent comes, talent goes. I don't like losing any of my talent. We've gone through this list of people that have left Ring of Honor over the course of time, and I think I was sad about every one of them leaving. But Marty's got a great future with Ring of Honor. He's important to Ring of Honor, and hopefully we can conclude that in a positive way, which is always our goal. But again, I want people who want to be in Ring of Honor, and I feel what I feel about it in the strength of the company and the strength of its direction. And if all those things are in line, then I think we can expect to see Marty going forward. End quote. Again, nobody knows what Marty's going to do. Is Marty going to take money right now over everything else? I don't know. That money's going to be there for him no matter what. He could stay in Ring of Honor. I don't know what Marty's goals are. I don't know what he thinks of winning the Ring of Honor World Championship, but I would think the type of guy Marty Scurll is that he would maybe want to add that to his resume. Maybe win the Ring of Honor World Championship. It won't be done in MSG. I'll tell you that. It should have been done in MSG. He should have won it at MSG during WrestleMania weekend. Why they didn't do it? Why they gave it to fucking Matt Taven of all goddamn people? I don't know. So they lost out right there. That should have been a done deal for him. Now it's too late. So I don't know how he values winning the Ring of Honor World Championship. I'm not going to say it can't happen, but is it going to happen before November? Does he sign a new deal with a guarantee of winning the Ring of Honor World Championship at the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom? I don't know. I don't know what he thinks about winning that championship. He might not give a shit. He might say, fuck Ring of Honor. There's nothing more for me to do here. It's a dead fucking company. They're dead. Listen, I heard from somebody that Ring of Honor moved. I know for a fact that they moved the Final Battle show from the Hammerstein Ballroom. How long has that show been in Hammerstein? 3 years? Sold out. Every single year. Now they're moving it to Baltimore, and the tickets have been on sale for what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? 200 tickets, 250 tickets max sold to that show. And Ring of Honor is operating, their home base is in Baltimore. How sad and pathetic is that? Is that what you want for Marty Scurll? Does Marty want that for Marty? Maybe he wants to come to WWE. Maybe he wants to go to NXT. His girlfriend, Deonna Purrazzo, wrestles for NXT. Maybe he wants to be closer to her. I don't know. Maybe he wants to go back to his friends. Maybe he wants to be elite again. And he wants to help his friends achieve their dream. A lot of different options. Stay in Ring of Honor, which is a dead company. Or go to AEW and be with your friends and help change the world. Or go to WWE. Be a slave to the fucking machine. Make hand over fist more money in your entire life. And be delegated to the fucking mid-card for 5 years. What do you want to do? Marty only knows what Marty wants to do. That's it. I don't know what else to tell you. But that Ring of Honor World Championship should have happened in April. I don't know if he is really feeling that way now. Because if they passed on him then, maybe that is going to sway his decision. Because he was clearly ready for it then. Now he's more than ready for it. It might be too late, and he might be swinging his decision somewhere else where he knows he's going to win championships, and he knows he's going to make just as much, if not more money, than what Ring of Honor is offering him. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Young Bucks. They talk about Vince McMahon hating tag team wrestling. The tag team tournament gets started next week with the Young Bucks and Private Party. I can't wait. Young Bucks on Vince McMahon hating tag team wrestling. They both spoke to the Bleacher Report. And Nick Jackson discussed Vince McMahon's feeling towards tag team wrestling and how AEW is looking to go in a different direction. Nick Jackson says this, and I quote, "For some reason, whatever it is, Vince McMahon just doesn't like tag team wrestling. And for 20 years now, he's controlled the mainstream market in wrestling. It's become a lost art because of that. I think we're going to change that come October 2nd because we have the best tag teams in wrestling." That is absolutely 100% factual. I say that. He didn't say that. I say that. And I know you guys think the same way too. We're going to focus on it more than anything we've seen in 20 years. Don't be surprised if a tag team match is the main event on multiple TV shows this year. End quote. Now, the biggest issue with Vince McMahon is that he feels like tag team wrestling doesn't make any money. I don't know why. Yeah, it's odd. Vince doesn't feel that way, but every single Monday Night Raw in 2018 was a fucking tag team match. It was the year of six-man tags. So I don't understand. Maybe he just doesn't like legit tag team wrestling. Maybe it's got to be tag team wrestling done in his image, which is rinse and repeat, repetitive and boring. This is tag team wrestling. The Young Bucks are going to unleash tag team wrestling. This tournament is going to be fucking awesome. I can't wait to see what they do. Now, the tag team tournament is a very good sign that AEW will quickly let you all know how good their tag team division is. This is going to be the foundation for everything that they've brewed up in their minds for the last 10 months. This tournament is going to show off exactly what the Young Bucks feel about tag team wrestling. They're a part of it. I don't think they're going to win it. I don't think the Lucha Brothers are going to win it either. I'm going with the Jurassic Express. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus are going to be your new tag team champions. My prediction is that they beat the Dark Order in the finals of this tournament. But, man, I guarantee you, this is something that we've already discussed, and I made mention of it in passing. As soon as AEW starts presenting tag team wrestling the way that tag team wrestling should be presented, watch WWE get on board, folks. They've gotten on board with everything that they've done. This is not going to be any different. Guarantee it. Watch what WWE does when this tag team tournament gets underway. Guarantee you. Finally, guys, we're going to end with this one. Brandi Rhodes spoke on Nyla Rose, who is going to be the new AEW first ever women's champion. Brandi did not realize Nyla Rose was trans before she signed to AEW. Brandi revealed to Collider in the same interview where Cody spoke about Punk that they did not know Nyla Rose's story, but they liked what they saw. She's a force in the ring, and the fact that she's trans doesn't even play into things, as Rhodes called Rose one of the best she has ever seen. She says, and I quote, "I don't know if we've told the real story with Nyla Rose. I'm cool telling the real story if it's not out there. When we hired Nyla, we didn't know about her story. We thought she was one of the best wrestlers we saw. That was that. It was later revealed to us that she was trans, and that's great." End quote. She then went on to say that Nyla Rose and her story made it to her social media account. And she did some digging online. Via the internet, she says, and I quote, "I was getting floods of tweets from people in the LGBTQ community just to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm here sitting saying, what? For what? And then I found about Nyla Rose. I found out about Nyla Rose. She opened up to me and talked about it. And it was fantastic. However, it's nothing to do with anything because she's a fantastic competitor. She was brought on board. I think Kenny Omega was the one who found her and says, hey, take a look at her. None of us knew. Nobody knew." And that was it. I think Nyla Rose is going to be really, really good for that women's division. I really do think so. And she's gotten a lot better as the events that we've seen have come and go. From event number 1 to what we see now at the last show. I think she looks a lot better. I think the match with Riho is going to be good. I don't think it's the match that needed to happen. I would have easily went with Britt Baker. Britt Baker was the one that you've been pushing and pushing and pushing for this spot, and now she's not in it. I don't know if you want to build up to her first, but not having Britt Baker in this position, not having a Bea Priestley or someone that could really hone in on, I don't want to say competing in this war, but going head-to-head with WWE, because I don't know who in their right mind is going to watch Nyla Rose and Riho over Candice LeRae and Shayna Baszler. I just don't know why you would do that. Why you would have Nyla Rose in this position. Not because of who she is or what her story is, but why? Aren't you going with someone who is a little bit more known to not only help the women's division, but AEW in general. How many people know, or I should say, care about Nyla Rose? I'm not going to say as many as Britt Baker. And I'm going to sit here and tell you, not many at all. That's just the way it is. And I love AEW, and I want nothing more for them to succeed, but I can't help but hear this story and then look back at everything that we've seen and what should have been, and now we're looking at this debut episode. It's very difficult for me not to say that AEW is pushing this as far as their political agenda goes. Just like how I sit here and talk about WWE and their blonde agenda, and their Charlotte agenda, and their Alexa Bliss agenda. This is no different. This is fitting a whole new agenda, but this is something that I don't think you need to put out there blatantly and boast about, oh, look at our champion, first time ever, right? Instead of building the women's division based off the most notable name, you're building the women's division off of her backstory. And you're going to gloat about the backstory, which in turn only lessens the value of the championship. And people are going to put two and two together at the end of the night, and they're going to realize that you gave the championship to Nyla Rose because of who she is and what her story is and the fact that she's transgender. I don't think that's right for the championship. It should have happened in a more organic way. It should have happened in a much better way, and you should have given it to the woman that you've been pushing all these months as the face of the division. That's Britt Baker. The fact that Britt Baker is not here after everything you've done with her so far is a mistake. Not only for the women's division, but for the show on Wednesday. Because I don't know, again, who's going to watch this match over what WWE is producing as far as their women's championship match goes. I'm getting out of here. Thank you guys so very much. I am going to be back on Wednesday. Going to be a big day, guys. Going to be a big day. AEW, Wednesday night. NXT, Thursday morning. Be on the lookout for it. It's coming. I'm not going anywhere, man. Content each and every day, every single week. Thank you guys for being a part of Off the Script. Let me know what you guys thought of this. Hit that thumbs up. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you guys check out the Monday Night Raw review as well, and hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And again, once again, please hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys right back here for the debut episode of AEW Dynamite on TNT. See you guys then.